Hey, I wanted to record this quick video just to go through something which I think is pretty cool. But I'm interested to hear if this resonates with anybody else, if this is a use case. I think there's still a few dots to connect to make it work in a really slick way. But the idea of QR codes, using them from print, postcards or whatever, to kind of take them to a digital personalization is a really nice way it can be done. VOP magazine did this for their subscribers on their front cover, where each QR code was personalized and took them to somewhere. And I wonder, using Hyperize, how easy it would be to replicate that. So what I did, this was stimulated by a call I had with another client, and what I found out quite quickly was that, again, our friend is Google Sheets. And so I've got a Google Sheet example doc here I've used before on some logic examples. But as you can see here, just a really pretty standard Google Doc with some data in here. And what I've done is I've added a column here with a link, which is taken us just to a different page. And we've got a link reference here, which is coming from Hyperize. So I've added this sheet to a Hyperize image as a Google source, so as a Google Sheet source. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. Now, I've added a further column in here, and what we can see here, there's basically a little formula, but ultimately what it's doing is just showing an image, and that image is a Google chart. Now, one of the Google chart types you can have is a QR code, and we're able to point a URL to that. So in this case, we're pointing the link to a page that we've added the Hyperize code to with a reference to the row ID. So that row ID becomes that prospect ID, if you like. So if we look at, let's wind that back and look at this row 2 here, it's first name Ian, last name Naylor as a male, from the business Hyperize, which is a technology industry, etc. So we have all our prospect data. So this is row 2. Now we can see here that we've got this Hyperize link. If I click that, let's just go and visit that link for a second. What we'll see is the actual destination link is obviously got that same reference, number 2, and then from that, the page is able to personalize to the data, in this case, Ian from Hyperize. So there we've got that kind of link, and we're personalizing the image as well. So that's kind of that standard web personalization from a Google Sheet. But what we've done is for this link now is now being converted to QR code, and this specifically is the link that creates the QR code, so this Google API. So essentially what you can see here, we've got a chart type of QR and a chart URL, and we're just pulling that in. If we look at the formula for that, we're just pulling that in from this column here. So that's just pulled together, and then this is the fun part, or fun relatively, in our Google Sheet. What we've selected here is the custom, the column QR link. We've set that to be custom image 1. So custom image 1, wherever we put that in our personalized image template, we'll have a specific QR link for the person that we're showing it to. So we can save that. And what we've got here, we can see here, if we edit the settings for the image, and you see here custom image, and we're using custom image 1. So that wherever we're going to, whichever prospect sees this, they're going to see a QR code that's personalized to them. So if I just preview that, so I preview that image. Now, again, what we're seeing there, again, is row 2. So the image is row 2. Now, if I just go and grab my phone, just one second, right, unlock. Let me record this so we can see what's going to happen. All right, we're recording. So if I just put up my camera, so the camera can have a look at that little doggy. There we go. We've got open the link. So we can open the link, and what we should see when this loads. So imagine this obviously could be put on something that's kind of printed off and sent somebody or handed to somebody, really nice personal touch to send something that's personalized. But the thing that you hand to them is it's got this QR code. And as we can see here on my phone screen now, personalized to Ian Hyperize, and we've got the personalized image on there. So now just maybe what we'll do is just change this. Let's go back to the sheet, get somebody else, and of course, Tim Cook. So Tim Cook, you can see Tim from Apple, row number 4. So if we go back to our original image and just change that to row 4, then we can see we've got again the QR code there. So we're still on the phone. Let's jump back to the phone, scan this QR code and open that up. And what we should see now when this image loads, as we can see here, we've now got the title Tim explore how hyper-personalization can help Apple create pattern interrupts. And then you can see below we've got the image personalized to Tim. So there we can see just from scanning a QR code. And again, Apple make this really nice now, don't they? In terms of on your phone, just using the camera, no additional apps, makes using QR codes, a real interesting prospect again, and being able to personalize that on the fly. Again, love you, Google Sheets, and your QR code APIs, all free stuff, along with Hyper-Eyes, enabling this to be a really interesting prospect. In terms of, if you do want to go to print and go to all of that level, where do you go to next? Thanks.io is a postcard solution where you can add handwriting and add an image. They do have an API, so when you send the postcard, you can send a front page URL. So that URL obviously could be a Hyper-Eyes URL, which in this case, including something with a QR code in it, with some handwritten stuff on the other side. I think there are other options as well. Touch note maybe. As I said, just looking into scraping the surface of this is a possibility. But if this does resonate or is of interest, would love to work alongside any of you guys interested in getting some kind of good use cases of getting QR codes and personalization working together in a really nice way. Anyway, I look forward to your feedback and catching you guys soon. Take care.